I got stories. I got jujitsu stories. I got painting, signing stories, and stuff like that. So a lot of my jujitsu students know that I tell them all the time, and they've probably heard my stories more than once, more than they want to. But a lot of people haven't heard this Michael Jordan signing story. So um, it's interesting because I was young and I was nervous, and so I'll tell you. It's back in March of '98. I'm 26 years old. I'm just starting this trend of getting people to sign my paintings, and my dad has hooked me up with Terrell Brandon and Ray Allen and Glenn Robinson, all who play for the Bucks, and they've all signed my paintings and have one of my paintings that I gave to him. And he's also friends with Frank Hamlin, who was an assistant at the Bucks, and then he became an assistant at the Bulls. And so my dad got a hold of Frank and said, "Hey, do you think that Jordan would be interested in signing one of James's paintings and getting one as a gift?" And he goes, "I don't know. I'll ask him." So they go back and my dad and Frank go back and forth, and come to find out, yeah, Jordan's down for it. And I was like, man, this is so cool, right? But I'm not part of the conversation. I'm third party on all this, so it's still making me nervous. Like it's out of my control, so I'm still crazy nervous, right? The Bulls come to play the Bucks in March of '98, and under the stands at the Bradley Center, um, there's the Bucks locker room, and then there's a door for the video room, and then there's a door for the visitors locker room. Okay, and all the visitors come in from this side where the parking lot is off the bus, right? And so I got these paintings leaned up against the wall under the bleachers. One is 11 foot tall, and one is 4 feet by 5 feet, right? And the 11 foot tall one, even in this huge hallway underneath the bleachers, looks massive, right? It's like stood up under like a bunch of cables and stuff, like as tall as you can get it. And so the Bulls players start coming in, and some of them are like checking out the painting, and some of them are just like giving it a glance and walking in, and but the only person who hasn't seen it is Jordan, because he's not there. And I'm like, start asking my dad, "Do you know if he's injured? Like, have you read injury reports? Is he sick, or like is he coming?" My dad's like, "I don't know. I haven't read anything. I think he should be here. He's probably just taking his time." He's trying to keep me cool, which is great because I need to be kept cool in this situation because I'm ready to bug out. And so, like 2 minutes later, Jordan and like his security entourage come walking in, and I'm like, holy shit, it's Jordan. And it's not on TV, and it's not far away on the court. It's like right there. Like I could reach out and touch him and maybe get my arm broken by security. But he's like super duper close, right? And I don't know what to say. So, but luckily, before I can say anything dumb, Jordan looks at the paintings and goes, "I'll take care of those after." And so I was like, "Oh, thank God." And then he just goes in the locker room, right? And so the weird thing though is like after he goes in the locker room, I'm like, "Oh, this sucks. I gotta root for the Bulls now." Right? Like I gotta, like a bad gambler, I gotta root against my own team because you don't want anything to go wrong. You don't want him to have like a shit game or the Bulls lose or whatever. And then all of a sudden he's like, "I just want to get on the bus and get out of here. Like I just don't want to even be here." So like a jerk, I'm rooting I'm rooting against the Bucks. I'm rooting for the Bulls to do well, right? And my dad and I watched the game from inside the video room because he's doing the editing while the game is going on for the coaches. And so he says to me, "Every time they're gonna be in the tunnel, you need to be in the tunnel. Like be there, like you haven't forgotten, or like make sure they understand it's a big. He understands it's a big deal, right?" So before the game starts, I'm out by the paintings as they make their way to the court, right? The half ends, I'm out in the tunnel. They come back to the locker room so they can see me, and started the second half. I'm in the tunnel. They walk past me again, and they must think he must think I'm crazy. Like, did this dude stand out here the whole time? And like, just is he just standing here the whole time? And end of the game, I'm in the tunnel, right? Right. But also, I got to talk about. There's this picture that I have of me talking to him, right? And I got my arms down by my side. I got hair. I'm leaning against the wall, and you can see me kind of gesturing with my hands. But here's the real scoop about that picture, and this is the part that everybody finds super duper funny. And that is, it had taken him so long to get out of the locker room that my anxiety was like at fever pitch. And so not only was I sweating all over the place, my knees were shaking. They were like bobbing up and down. And so this picture of me nonchalantly leaning up against the wall is not me leaning. I'm pushing myself into the wall as hard as I can with my legs stretched and like super stiff to keep my knees from shaking. So I didn't want to look like I was about to pee my pants in front of him. So like I'm like driving myself into the wall to try to keep myself from like breaking down physically. I'm sure I sweated through like halfway through the first quarter, I'm sure I sweated off my deodorant. And I don't know if I'm funky or not, but like I've sweated through my t-shirt and my dress shirt, and it's rolling down my back like into the crack of my butt. Like I know I'm sweating like it's 90-degree summer day. And so Jordan scores 30, the Bulls win. I'm like, okay, the sting of this Bucks loss will be kind of taken away when he signs my paintings, right? And so guys are in the locker room, they're changing, they're showering up and all that stuff. And people are talking to me about the paintings, people who have gathered around now to see the players. And can't really focus on that. I'm like too nervous. I'm like keeping my eye on the door, waiting for Jordan to come out. And all these players come out, and I don't know, it's been like half an hour, 45 minutes. It's been a while that I'm standing in the hallway with my sister and my dad, waiting for Jordan to come out. And I know there's only one exit out of the locker room. The door you go in, that's the door you have to come out. I guess there's like a kind of convoluted way, but like it's not like Jordan or his staff are gonna know about this weird way of getting out. And I'm also thinking, there's no way he could get past me. He's 6'6" and like super fly, custom made suit, looking awesome, and there's just no way I can miss him. And so my dad's like, he'll be out. Like, he'll be out. Just relax. My sister's probably a little nervous because she's got to take the pictures and stuff. And so finally, Jordan comes out. And I give him the pen to sign, and he walks over to the 11-foot tall one, and he just signs right in the middle. And it's right between the eyes. And it's perfect. It's exactly the spot that I would have picked for him to sign. So it was like super cool. He just walks up and signs it, and then he hands me back the pen, and I say, well, aren't you going to sign yours? And he goes, why would I sign mine? And I said, well, the only thing I could think of, well, it'll increase the value. And he goes, I'm never going to sell it. And I was like, I don't know, man. There's just a rush that came over me. How cool is that? I'm never going to sell it. It's something that he's always going to have. And I thought that was like everything he's doing is super cool. Like, take care of those after and sign right in the right spot, and I'll never sell it. And so it was really neat to like get that feedback from him that he was never going to sell it. And so I asked him where he wants me to send, or he goes, you know where to send it, right? And I said, North Carolina? Because a lot of the guys, when they keep their paintings, they either put them in their house or they send them to family, which is pretty typical. And he just shook his head and he said, Chicago Bulls. And then he just turned and walked away. And it was like the coolest. It was almost like he had it written down, like, what are the cool things I can say before I just turn and go out of the building with my security entourage? This would be good. This would be good. I should just say Chicago Bulls and leave. And that's it. He said Chicago Bulls and turned around and walked away. And it was just super cool. Like outside of the nerves, man, he was awesome. So that's the story of Jordan signing my paintings.